Here. Okay, so hello everyone. I am here with Judy Shipway, and I'm going to point this way because I found out yesterday that if I point this way, which is actually where you are in my on my screen, I'm pointing off screen. So it's
interesting.
I think it's because the camera's reversed or something. I don't know. I don't understand any of this. But anyway, welcome, Judy. It's so great to have you here. And I've been wanting to talk to you for a while because I know when you sent me a friend request a while back on Facebook, I was like, I've always seen her name. Because I see your name on, we got talking about this a little bit, the Texas Trail Championships, because you place.
I don't know what that is.
She's placing in this stuff. Yeah, so there's this thing that, and I think Joe, and I don't know if you know Tom Bowling or not, and some other people, Jacobson used to do it, David Jacobson. And
yeah.
So it's just this group of people, and they give you points, because you must be are you part of the Trails End group, Joe's group?
Yes.
Okay, that's how you get in it. Okay.
Oh.
So what they do is every race you do, they automatically look at your finishing time, and then they break it down so that you have you get a certain amount of points for each race that you do, and then they break it down by trail and ultra, or trail and ultra, yeah. And so I think you've placed an ultra before, and they do it by age group, and then they also do it overall. And so yeah, so I saw you in the 60s, and I was like, ooh.
A victim.
Competition. In fact, it was so funny because in the trail group, up until a few weeks ago, I was in first place in the 60s. You weren't even in there, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
The other woman just kind of blew in out of nowhere, and there's no way I was going to be able to catch her. So I was like, damn it. But, you know.
Oh.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of how I knew about you. And
it's so interesting even though it seems like the trail community has gotten so much bigger, it's still like we see each other's names, and like I know people's names and I may not really know them, but it's kind of cool how there's a little.
It is. No, I agree. And I really, I don't know. I guess I'm very partial to Tejas Trails anyway.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I've gone to other, places and stuff like that. And I won't name names, but I mean, they're okay. There's one that's out of Austin. I can't remember which group it's called, but I almost hate doing their races because they have all the fast people from Austin that do their races. And so it's just like, oh, great. It's not like the regular people we usually see at Tejas where, people are hiking and whatnot. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm like, but anyway.
I know. I love that about it. It's just so, I don't know, welcoming to everybody. You see people, that are just out there hiking with their poles and having a good time. And
right.
Then you see the super fast people. And it's just kind of fun to see that variety.
Well, and I also find that being slow, like me, when we used to do races, I have some mixed opinions about this 2-day thing that we've been doing. I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm also finding some flaws in it. But especially like weather, because like the day you did your race, it was really hot, and then the next day, there's like that giant front, and everybody got a lot better conditions. But but then again, I don't really like getting stampeded at the beginning with a big giant start. So.
I know.
Because I end up standing off to the side, letting everybody pass me.
I know, so you don't get run over.
I know.
To rush at the beginning.
I mean, unless it's a 5K.
Yeah.
100 milers. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. It's kind of a mixed bag. I like kind of having that. I know some people like having folks around or having people cheering or whatever. I kind of like the solitude to some extent, but I do miss just having those mass starts where you see everybody and it's so exciting. And,
yeah, and everyone's jockeying, and I'm just in the back kind of going, yep.
Yeah, y'all have fun. I'll be back.
I know. Well, let me tell you the good thing though. That's what I was trying to get out of here, and then I sidetracked myself. Is that being in the back, a lot of times you get to see the front runners, And so like a lot of times I'll be like, you're in first. And they're like, oh, thanks. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of fun. So it's like you kind of get your, up to brush with the elites a little bit. And but anyway, I got a C in conduct in first grade. It said talks too much. So just so you know that about me. Anyway, so let's start with some basics about you. Did you grow up in Texas?
I was born and raised in San Antonio.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah. And so then I went to college in Houston. And then I was in the Peace Corps in the Caribbean for a couple of years.
Ooh, what part?
Dominica.
Okay.
It's the Eastern Caribbean.
Mhm.
So it was wonderful. My assignment was to help this shop teacher, junior high shop teacher, learn how to integrate using power tools in his shop class with the boys. But there was no electricity because this giant hurricane had just gone through.
God, what year was this?
But I was still there, so I just like helped him, with whatever he needed while he was teaching, and we tried to get some, different things going on. So it was fun, and so I did that.
Do you know anything about tower tools or anything to prepare you for this?
Well, the interesting thing is in high school, I almost flunked out of home ec. And I really wanted to take shop, but back in the day, girls couldn't take shop. They had to take home ec.
Yeah.
So when I went to college for some of my electives, I did take some shop classes. And so I had like very, very basic knowledge, but that guy, the teacher had knowledge. And so, it would have been a little redundant probably anyway, but anyway, so
That's interesting.
it was fun. It was so
fun.
I learned a ton. I think they probably helped me and taught me a whole lot more than I taught the people.
Wow. But, so did you do this straight out of college, or how did that?
Yeah, I did it out of college. It took me, I kind of did the long-term plan in college, and then when I got out of college, so I wanted to go into Peace Corps. Then I decided, I want to go to law school. And I thought, well, I'll apply for Peace Corps and law school, and whichever one takes me, that's what I'll do. So then I ended up getting into both. But I decided I would do Peace Corps, and then when I got out, I went to law school.
Okay, cool. I always wanted to do Peace Corps. Yeah,
Yeah, you still can. You still can.
After I retire, but so wow. Yeah, I was so funny because I was this close to sending off my application and all this, and then I kept thinking about, I'm really terrified of snakes, which is funny because here I am a trail runner, but I just kept thinking about bathing in streams with snakes, and I was just like, okay.
Oh,
I know, stupid reason, but it was my reason. So so you went to law school in Houston?
In Houston, and then I got my first job here in Austin. And I just stayed here.
Cool. That's great. So you're just
so a few years ago I retired. I mean, I had been running still to kind of keep my sanity. And then I retired. Now I can run a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to those days. I'm probably about 6 years out. At least that's my financial planner tells me. I know, because I thought for sure I was going to be working till I was like over 70, and I was like, no. I know. I bought my first house 3.5 years ago, and so so I'm a little old for, and so I got like a really short mortgage. I'm like, look, I'm not going to be paying this thing off when I'm 80. It's like, come on, guys. But anyway, so were you always a runner, or how did that evolve?
No, so I guess when until I got to college, I did everything I could to avoid any sort of physical activity.
Sounds familiar.
I needed some hours to graduate college. Excuse me. And so there was this thing called aerobics, and it had the number of hours that I needed to be able to graduate when I wanted to. Excuse me.
Sure.
So aerobics turned out to be running. And so I don't really remember a whole lot about the class. You know, I don't remember any wrenching track workouts or anything, but we ran and I enjoyed it. So then I just kept doing that. Then when I came, I guess, and I off and on, I would run and then I wouldn't do anything. And then I would run for a couple of years and then I wouldn't do anything. And then I started doing marathons. Oh. And then at some point, I just got kind of bored with roads. And so I switched to trails. And then I kind of feel like, okay, I'm done with trails and go back to roads. And then for a while, I was trying to do triathlons, but I couldn't swim. So I figured out that was a lost cause. So I started running again, and I just wasn't enjoying running on the roads that much. And so I remembered how much I loved running on trails, and I started up again. And, you know, there's so many more people now.
What year do you think you started back on trails?
The most recent time?
Yeah.
I guess 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
Okay, so fairly recently, yeah.
Pretty recently.
Yeah. But
So
grown, yeah.
Yeah. So, and some of the same folks are around, and there's some new people that are just awesome. There's so many fast people now. There always were, and I just never saw them. Anyway.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I hear you. You know, I mean, I'm on the Rockhoppers team, and you know, in San Antonio, and yeah, we've got like I don't know if you've heard of Matt Smith or Joe Schmall.
Yeah.
Some of those guys, and you know, whew, yeah, you know, but I think the thing in my experience, and I don't know, and I think this is very true of the Austin crowd too, is I don't really see a lot of attitude out of these people that are very talented, people, you know, and I like that.
Yeah, no, that's true. And everybody's just so helpful and so laid back, and
it's like I found my tribe.
Yeah, I know, it really is like a tribe. I don't know if I'm sure other sports feel that way about their folks, but yeah, it really does seem like a family.
Yeah, and I also like the egalitarian nature of trail running in that, I mean, there are probably some like elite races like Western States or some of those other ones I've never, you know, I don't know much about. Sorry, my cat is talking.
Yeah.
He may jump into the frame. He did yesterday when I was.
Oh, I want to see him. I can't, on your podcast, I always.
Yes, come here, Hazel.
Talking about him.
Famous Hazel. Hi, how are you? Of course, now he's gonna be reluctant.
Look at that guy. He's a big guy.
No, he's 5. He's very sweet. He likes to cuddle. Ow, but you still have claws, buddy. But he'll probably come back around. But no, but I love the egalitarian nature of trail running, just because like they don't have like corrals and stuff like that. You know, it's just like everybody starts at once, and you know, and they get lost. And you know, I mean, I think about Jim Walmsley. I became such a geek about, do you know who he is? The guy that, yeah, I saw him come in when he won Bandera 100K a few years ago, because I had done the 25K that day, and I was just kind of hanging at the finish line, you know, waiting for people. And then I saw Joe and maybe Chris, they were like kind of bringing out the tape, and I'm like, wow, what's going on? And I see this tall, fuzzy haired guy, like just started, comes, trotting in, and it was like, wow, that was amazing. And yeah, and we actually met him. This is so funny.
You did?
Yes, we saw him. He was pacing a guy. I'm sorry, you're going to be sorry you asked for this. No, he's going to be behind the computer, and you might see his fur cover the. Yeah, there. Anyway, yeah, he sees me staring at this computer all day, and he's like, "Oh, it's for me." But we were all at OST, that the one restaurant in Bandera.
Right.
And I was with, oh my God. Oh my God, this is what I get. This is what I get. Oh my Lord. No, don't do anything. Don't step on the computer. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, so but we saw him and his buddies. He was pacing a guy, Cody, somebody, I can't remember. I don't really geek out a lot about sports, but I do a little bit about ultra running just because I know of this. I mean, so I saw this guy in the story. Yeah. And I was telling my friends about him because they didn't know who he was. So I'm just like, oh my God, that guy, And so my friends, this is when I was living in the Valley, and they're like, okay, he went up to the cash register to pay his bill. And so then of course we all approach him, and we're like, can we stand with you for a photo? And so his friends were just cracking up because this was before I think he actually won Western States, because I think he had tried it a couple of times and then problems. But yeah, so he did, but his friends are taking pictures of us getting our picture taken with him and all this, and it was just like, funny celebrity story. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, so I think that's what's so cool about the sport. Just that, I remember Joe Crusadis telling a story one time about a guy, and I don't know his name, but he was running a race out west, and it was at one of these national parks or something like that. And this guy was like about to break the course record, and this woman was walking her dog out there, which is always one of those hazards, when you're running a race at a park where everybody else is hanging out, it's like, but her dog got loose. And so this guy who was, set to, ready to set the course record, saw the dog get loose, ran over, picked up the dog, brought it back to the lady. And he did not set his course record, but boy, is he a nice person, and I thought that's what's so cool about trail runners. It's like, I can't imagine a road runner doing that. Or at least
I know.
Yeah, I'm not, maybe an ordinary, but anyway, I'm sorry. So you said that you really hadn't done a whole lot of sports or anything like that in your youth. Did you, and you mainly took this aerobics class for so you could graduate. And so did you like the running when you first started it, or was it a struggle? Or
no, it seemed, I don't remember it being a struggle. I just remember it being fun. And, there are other people in the class, and they probably knew what they were doing, but it made it fun to have a group, to begin with and everything. And they have some, like there was that pretty, I can't remember what they call it, Herman Park, I think. They have some trails in Houston, like not trails, but
right. Park.
Unpaved park areas where you could run. And so it was pretty, and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And so, it just kind of came and went, but it was always kind of there.
Yeah. So, did you find that once you, were you winning races or anything, or, placing or anything like that at first?
No, I wasn't even really running races.
Yeah.
I remember running one when I was still living in Houston, and I knew what like 5Ks and 10Ks were. And they had this race, and it was called something 10 miler. And I was thinking it was a 10K. It wasn't very much.
That's a rude awakening.
It just kept going and going. And I thought, oh my gosh, why is this so hard? Then it turned out, I realized it was a 10 mile after the,
did it.
4 more miles, but it It just seemed like an eternity.
Yeah, it's that mentality thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah. So I wasn't really, yeah, and I definitely wasn't winning. And I never even thought about winning races.
Yeah.
So it's so
He's
funny.
quiet. Yeah, I know. He's just, yeah, my students have become very acquainted with him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And the reason his name is Hazel is because we thought he was a girl, including the vet, until they took him to get fixed. And she was caught by surprise. She said this happens once in every vet's career, that you will get fooled by an animal, and this was hers. And so, but I kept the name because I just felt like it fit his personality, and I was, yeah, so that's that. But anyway, but he's fun. Yeah, I've got another one around here someplace, and he never comes. The only thing
you have cats outside too.
I do. I've got yeah, it's kind of fun. It's like I am slowly but surely getting them fixed. So because we really did have sort of this kitten explosion this fall. And I love them. I mean, they're fun. I mean, they really are. And not all of them make it. So, just for various things. Sometimes they're kind of inbred and they, have genetic problems and stuff like that. But I feed them, and my neighbor feeds them, and I think some other neighbors. So my next door neighbor and I, yeah, we've been working on this thing for about a month or so now, getting them fixed 2 at a time. And so we're up to 4, and I've got a new appointment early next month to get 2 more. And it's a free program, which makes it amazing, so it's like they'll let you borrow traps, and trapping hasn't really been a problem so far. I mean, it sounds horrible, but it's really not. You just put like some tuna, and I put it like on a little piece of plastic and put it in the cage. And most of the ones I've been able to get so far are ones that will let me hold them. So I'll just kind of, oh, I'm sorry about that sound. But he's doing construction work across the way. So, but yeah, I like animals in general. It's like, wherever I've lived, I've had like, where I used to live, there's a dog across the street that I named Sunny. And I used to play with Sunny all the time, and used to bring her treats, stuff like that. And when I was in the valley, I had a chicken that escaped a farm, and I was fascinated with her. And and she used to roost in the tree, because I lived in a duplex, and she would roost there, and then she'd be out there kicking up a fuss every morning outside my front door, wanting to be fed. So
you had a pet chicken.
I did. I called her Hen. Yeah, her name was Hen, and she even had I made a Facebook page for her. People love the stories of Hen, and I think we were together for about a year. Listen to me, it sounds like a relationship. Kind of was. She was like my spirit animal. She really was. She just didn't take crap off of the other animals, even though they tried to pick on her and stuff. And she's just like, no. But she would never let me hold her. And she never laid eggs, at least not that I knew of. They don't need a male. It's just in order to lay eggs, they don't have to do that. Yeah. So anyway, I learned a lot about, and how they take dirt baths to keep the mites off of their feathers and stuff. So yeah, I used to see her be pulling into my driveway, and all of a sudden I'd see this like flurry of dust and dirt come up from the, next door neighbor's driveway. And all of a sudden you'd see this chicken head pop up, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know that my neighbors were that happy about it. But she disappeared, and she came back after about a week or so, and then completely disappeared. And I don't know if she was killed, picked up by animal control, maybe somebody ate her. But I don't know, I was okay about it, because I just felt like, well, if somebody did eat her, she tasted like love. So.
Maybe she just went back to her farm.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, because it was across the street. So yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, I don't know chicken. I mean, I learned a lot, but I don't know a lot. But anyway, sorry, God, I go off on tangents all the time.
It's fun.
Oh God, yeah. Well, but yeah, so animals, I do. I love animals. They're fun. And little kids, even though I don't have kids, little kids always seem to, like, it's weird. I'll be at the store or something, and they'll lock eyes with me, and it's like all of a sudden they realize like I'm one of them. It's so cute.
How fun.
Like, I know. And so I really enjoy that. So anyway, that's like my pastime. But anyway, God, let's get back to you and running. Holy God,
Oh, I love this because I hate talking about myself.
Oh no, you're doing great. I know you were nervous about this, and certainly, you're doing perfect. So yeah. So what's the furthest distance you've ever traveled? I'm not traveled, run, not traveled. That's another conversation.
So I guess, well, I did that Trans Rockies 3-day thing, but that's over 3 days. So I think the longest I've run which also is like my favorite race, and I've done it once, but the Cactus Rose 50 miler.
Oh, you're one of those people that you like that. Oh God.
I just love Bandera, and I love that terrain. I know some people like flatter, and
that's me. I'm just not good on it. So yeah, I mean.
Oh no, I'm not good on it either.
Oh no, well, yeah. Well,
and I love the challenge. Yeah. I love it's so pretty and
beautiful.
It's such an amazing feeling if you finish.
Oh yeah, no, I've done a couple of 50Ks out there. So yeah, I mean, it took me a long time.
Yeah, it takes a while.
I know, but it is a nice feeling. I think I'm just scared of Bandera now because last time I ran it about 2 years ago, and my very dear friend broke her ankle coming down Lucky Peak. Well, so this was the first year. Oh, it was awful. And I was with her. Oh, but it was, the problem was I think that might have been the first time they did both, like the 2-day race thing or whatever. And this is pre-pandemic, but I just remember everybody was wiping out coming down Lucky Peak, because it was just like glass, because it has all that Scrabble rock stuff. And so we were coming down, and yeah, a lot of people were like wiping out. It was like bowling. It was like, oh, and and so my friend Louisa, she started to slide, and so she grabbed a tree branch to try to break the fall, and I just heard this snap, and I was like, God, I pray this is
you hope it was a tree.
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was her ankle, and yeah.
Oh,
and,
no.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm still a little traumatized by that. Just seeing someone very close to you have that kind of experience, and I mean, I was glad I was there, but it was really pretty distressing, and of course there's no phone service up there. So.
Yeah, how'd you get her out of there?
Well, thank God, because it's a big race. Everybody that was passing, coming down, they're like, all right, we'll tell everybody, so immediately, my minimal first aid training, one of the good uses for those rocks out there is I propped up her foot on that thing so it would kind of elevate it so it wouldn't swell, and we didn't take her shoe off, so that helped. But yeah, it took them about an hour, and God love Chris. I think it was Chris, PJ Nimier. I don't know if you know him, and some other guys. They came up with this big stretcher, and God, it was a couple miles from the finish line. So, and then they had to go over all that.
That's
oh my God, yeah. But she she had to have surgery, and
oh my God,
still kind of has some residual issues, But anyways, so that's my story about why I'm a little nervous about Bandera, because also I busted open my knee on my first 50-mile try at Cactus several years ago. I was going down Lucky on the other side, and I wiped out and got a piece of skin taken off my kneecap. It was like a flap. And Penny Lane, God love her, she found me, and I'm still trying to run, and she's like, you're going to need to get stitches. I'm like, no.
Oh.
She walked with me till we got to the aid station, and then someone drove me to the start finish. I guess that was probably like the equestrian or something aid station. I don't know, wherever that first one is, but
where the houses and everything, or at equestrian?
I think it was an equestrian, because it was, yeah. But it was still dark. It was like, that was the year there was almost like a tropical storm had parked itself over Hill Country State Natural Area. Oh. And I was kind of glad in some ways. And then, do you know John Sharp?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So yeah, guess who volunteered to drive me to the ER in Bernie? John Sharp. So that's how I met him. Yes, that's, I mean, that's the other funny thing about the trail running is you get all these stories, and I think that's half the fun is just, I love to retell my stories to people, anyone that will listen, but no, but God love you. Cause yeah, I know a lot of people love that course at Cactus. And how long did it take you, if I can ask?
It was ridiculous. But I was so happy with the time. It was like
It's a PR.
Yeah, it was 8:45 or something.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I've done.
No, I'm lying. That was my Bandera. No, it was like 14 or something.
Okay, that sounds, yeah. Well, but even with the terrain and everything, that's amazing because, yeah, the only 250 milers I've done is Wild Hare and Brazos Bend, and both of those are fairly flat. And yeah, I'm coming in, I'm 14 and a half, something like that.
Does it start hurting to run flat courses like that for a long distance?
I don't think so. I just did Brazos full marathon, which is almost an ultra because it was 28. And I was wearing my Lone Peaks, and in fact, I thought I was going to start hurting. Although between us, and the world, I did take a couple of a leave midway, after my first loop, just because I know when I've done 50Ks, sometimes everything starts to ache a little bit. And so that kind of, I know you're not really supposed to do that, but I did it anyway.
Oh yeah, you have.
But I don't know. I'll tell you the one thing that bothered me about Wild Hare that I would never tell anyone to do the 50 miler there. You do so many of those loops and you have all those twists and turns. I mean, that's my favorite course though. I like that. And I like, Huntsville. Yeah. And because I just kind of like
Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky. I love that one. And but yeah, I don't know, for some reason, just doing all those twists and turns, I was kind of messing with my knees. I was like, but yeah, but the climby ones are pretty cool. I just find as I get a little older, I'm just a little less willing to run it,
Yeah.
But I don't know. So what's your least favorite race, if I can ask?
My least favorite.
Or your hardest? Maybe we can make it that way.
I think maybe just because it's still in my brain is the Bandera 50K from this past.
With the snow and sleet.
Oh, and the day before, if I had done the 100K or something, I would have been running around in like shorts.
I know. I was working the finish line that Saturday, and then I was working whatever, nachos, is that what it's called? Or chapas? I don't know. It's the one that's like right before you can just kind of walk straight down to the finish if you want it cheap, but obviously you don't. But yeah, it's that last aid station you hit. And I just remember you're just like huddled in there.
Oh yeah, those.
Oh man, so you did that one. Oh God.
And what was I just really fell in love all over again with Tejas Trails. After that one, it took me, it was horrid. It was horrid. And I got sick.
Oh no.
Freezing to death. I was wet. And but thank God for that Chapas, those guys. Chapas, it was warm in there.
That's the big one. Yeah.
Big ass runner people.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was just, I decided, okay, I can live, but all of the other volunteers were out there just freezing to death. But I was sick. I couldn't keep anything down from like, I don't know how long, a long time. And so, but I was like, the whole thing was, I wanted to run Bandera 50K and try to do the same time I did when I did it like 100, when I was in my 50s.
Okay.
So I had trained real hard and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna, at least get close. And I was so happy and excited. Well, then the weather, but then I don't know why, I was so sick at my stomach. And I just, I remember thinking, okay, if I can just get down lucky before it gets dark.
Oh yeah.
It was worried about, like you were saying, how scary it is going. And then it was all wet and muddy and everything. But I did get down before it got dark. And
Good.
then I was like it was so, trampled on and muddy by the time I got there, because I was going so slow at that time. I just didn't have any energy. So my shoes are getting half sucked off on that last to get in. It's snowing. It was ridiculous. And I thought, oh, thank God, here's the end. And Chris was out there freezing to death, waiting for us stragglers to get in the freezing cold. And he, just kind of took me back to my car, got me loaded. I guess he had a while to wait for the next person, got me into my car and everything. It was just, they took such good care of me. And that's when I met your friend PJ, and I always see him, and
he's such a dear.
People made sure I wasn't freezing to death. And it was just, I fell in love with those guys all over again.
They're the best. They really are. They
really are. It was cool.
That's good. So, but you finished.
But I finished. And so that was probably my worst one, but it's one of my memories that, by golly, if I want to finish something, I can't, I didn't have really any fuel, I don't guess, to go on. But just because I was a bonehead, I was like
stubborn
and everything. But you can do what you put your mind to.
Yeah.
I learned a good lesson. I learned that, and then I learned how wonderful those Chris and all those guys are.
They are.
They're
pretty exceptional people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you ever quit a race?
I've never quit a trail race. I dropped. Oh no, I did. That Mallory's race out in West Texas this time.
So is that the mountain race?
Yeah, it was. I did a 50K out there. It's called Spider Mountain.
Oh, well, no. Spider Mountain's Brad's.
Not Spider Mountain. What is it? There was a spider on the hat one year.
And I'm trying to think of what that one's called.
The name of it.
But it doesn't matter. I know what you mean.
But anyway, I'm going back next year to finish it. But it was so hot.
Oh.
And when I got to the last aid, it was an aid station that didn't have water and didn't have ice. And they were getting some out there, but I didn't want to hang around and wait because there's a cutoff.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, but then I was getting close. I was like mile 28 or something. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to finish this. I felt good. And so I take off running, and then it starts going up this other hill in the blaring sun.
Oh.
I don't know what time it was, but it was pretty hot by then. And I started feeling terrible. And I had to keep sitting down. Then I started barfing. And then I was like, I don't know where, I'm at mile 29 now. And I didn't know where out in the woods, if they were going to have to get me a helicopter if out there. And so I was like, I don't want to put these people through this. So I stopped and decided I'll just fight another day. So I have.
Well, that's good. So how did you get back to the start then?
Well, then you go down, it's in that park at Fort Davis. So
Davis Mountains.
Huh?
Is it Davis Mountain?
Yeah, where Indian Lodge is.
Okay.
So if you walk back down, you end up back on a road, and then you can
got it.
Find civilization again.
Okay, so it wasn't that far. Yeah, that's always my big fear, is like getting lost out at Bandera or stuck out at Bandera and not being able to summon for help or something like that because of the no phone service or whatever.
Oh yeah.
How do I get back?
It makes me feel better to know that they were able to come up and save your friend. They
Oh
didn't
yeah.
helicopter.
Oh yeah. I don't know what we would have done. I mean, I really,
Yeah.
I know. I mean, and of course I was still running my race, so, but it's like, yeah, no, I mean, it was fine. It was just like, I mean, what am I going to do? Leave her there? I mean, it was me and another woman. Oh God, sorry. Something was very noisy. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, my cats haven't busted out the door or something, but they're, yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I have a screen door that really needs to be rescreened, and I've been having some issues with that, but anyway, that's another story. But that's pretty tough. I mean, it sounds like you sound like you've got a very good mental mindset. So what do you think about, because I know I do the same thing about beating my times and stuff like that. It's like me versus me, like, okay, I gotta. So how do you do that? I mean, do you ever get those voices in your head that say, okay, this sucks, I'm not having fun, I'm gonna quit? Or do you just keep going, that's fine?
No, I guess everybody, you go through low points, and then I just figure if I get through that low point, I'll, you get back to a high point again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I guess, with the distance, that's just something that, so I just try to remember that and try to eat, because sometimes if I don't have enough calories, then I start getting in that mindset.
Yeah, or the dehydration too. Yeah,
yeah.
Especially when it's hot. Yeah, I'm a thrower upper when it gets hot.
So is that something that's caused just by the heat, or what is that?
Dehydration, yeah. Sometimes you just don't, I mean, you think you're drinking enough water, or you've, prepared. I mean, I did, what the heck was it? Oh God. It's not too far from Austin. It's Texas two-way torture test. I think it's put on by Run in Texas with
What's
the
that?
I like that race.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds fun.
Oh yeah. Well, allegedly you're supposed to have a partner. Although my friend and I didn't, but one starts in one direction, the other starts in the other, and you both, come down and you finish, but I think for whatever reason, I think the direction that I ended up with is a little harder because my time was,
Oh, great.
oh yeah. It was hot that day. It was, I think that was like in September or October. And I mean, we don't get cold weather until about now. So, it's just always, but yeah, after that race, my friend Maria, we had driven together, and she's like, you should have some cold water. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. So I'm chugging a couple cups of cold water. We're starting to head back to my car, and I'm just like, okay, go up the road. And I'm like throwing, I mean, I must have thrown up 4 times. Oh, it was just all that cold water. It's just like, you really should drink room temperature water. I learned after, even though you really want cold water, because it just messes with your stomach. And yeah, she had to drive me to her house because I couldn't even drive. I was just like, and, she lives in Bulverde, and but anyway, yeah, but I survived. Live another day. I mean, again, what would it be without all these kind of stories? I mean, if it came easy, everybody would do it, and I think that's fun about it. And what is your advice to other masters runners, or I mean, yeah, people over 50? Do you have advice for people who are either just getting into it, or who are in it and needing some inspiration?
I guess just trust in yourself and listen to your body.
That's good.
And that's a hard one for me, is listening to my body, because, it takes me longer to recover now. And I'll think, no, on my schedule, I have to do 12 miles today, and I'll start feeling better as I go, when I, probably really should do 5 and rest or whatever.
Yeah. You find you get hard on yourself?
I think in that regard, just thinking, no, it's on my schedule, I should be able to do it.
I hear you. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. So you were saying you would tell people then, just kind of listen to your body and
just trust in yourself, and know that you're you're so much stronger than you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
And don't listen to your voices when you're out during a hard time on your race. And I need to remember to listen to that too. But just trust in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I tried to do the Cactus Rose 25-mile last year. And that was when, you know, you could start on Friday or Saturday. And I started at 10 a.m. on Friday because some of my friends were doing the 100.
Oh my God.
And I wanted to start with them. And of course, as it turned out, they started ahead of me. And so I was completely by myself the whole time. And it was hot that day. And I was just out there and I'm just like, okay, this is not fun anymore. I'm just not having fun. And I'm just going to quit. And so I got to, you know, Brad and Pamela Toll.
No, I've seen their names, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they were working whatever that second aid station is. And I just got in there and I'm like, I'm dropping. I'm like, I just knew what was ahead of me was going to be all that uphill. And I was just like, I'm just not feeling it today. And, you know, sometimes I will try to be wise about it and just, you know, try to cut my losses if I'm already, you know, really having a bad time. I mean, other times, you know, I persevere and it's great, but yeah, I tend to be a little more weak-willed.
Well, it's smart. You fight another day, right?
Exactly. Or cut your losses. And yeah,
it's not fun.
No, and or if you're just feeling like crap, and yeah, but again, I mean, I've had plenty of races where I've just, you know, persevered and it's great and it feels wonderful. And yeah, so
yeah, it just
so how many miles a week do you run usually?
Well, so Joe is helping me. I want to do Rocky Raccoon. I'm doing Bandera. Doing Rocky, hopefully.
Which one?
The 100K.
Ooh.
Because I'm an idiot. No, I want that challenge, and I don't know if I can do it or not, but I feel like I won't know unless I try it.
I think you can. I think you can. I mean, you did really well at Mosaic, you know, and if you're doing, which one are you doing at Bandera? The 50K?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can get through that. I mean, Rocky isn't that, I mean, yes, Rocky's got some hills and stuff, but it's not like Bandera, you know, so you got to watch those routes, of course.
I know. And after I like fell every 10K at Mosaic on the stupid little, whatever those
stumps. Yeah, I tripped on one in the parking lot. Yes. What is it?
I started thinking maybe Rocky is not that great of a choice with all those routes, but I'll just have to practice picking my feet up.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll do a mantra like pick up your damn feet.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, I love that race. Yeah, I'll be there the following weekend doing that 50K. So and yeah.
Good. Yeah. No, I haven't been there in ages. I did 50K. Well, when it was Sunmark. I don't know if it's
yeah. I think they've changed it up a little bit. Well, and then they got hit by Hurricane Harvey, and so there's a lot of erosion and, you know, whatnot. So but I did a 50K out there probably about 5 years ago, and then I did the half marathon last year and this year. Oh God, this year was so cold. It was before the giant freeze.
No, Mageddon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's so weird because it's like sometimes that you know, I mean, it's sort of like I don't know, I guess any of these races really, but it's just like you never know what you're going to get. You don't know if it's going to be freezing cold or if it's going to be pouring rain or snowing or, you know, 90 degrees.
Yeah, it could be anything. That's the fun, you know.
Well, I know, part of the adventure, you know, like what am I going to get? You know, of course, packing for that is always interesting. You know, I feel like I'm going to another planet, you know, it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, and you don't want to get down there and not have what you need.
I know. Yeah, I can't do that, you know, so.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But so in answer to your question, so right now I'm doing about 55 miles a week.
That's impressive.
And I like how the schedule is because it backs down and then you do something, a real long run. Then there's also just like a down week where you just run a little bit and you give your body a chance to recover.
Yeah.
It's working out really well. I haven't gotten hurt, and so far, knock wood.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, yeah, I would imagine Joe knows a few things about how to coach people. So
That's what I thought. Yeah.
yeah, I like Joe a lot. He's a great person. He's another one of those, you know, if we had like a Mount Rushmore of trail running people, he would be up there. You know,
exactly.
He's lovely. But anyway, anything else you would like to add? I know I've been blathering and, you know, kind of going.
No, this has been fun. And I thank you for thinking of me.
Oh, no, I'm really glad you agreed. And I'm glad that we not that there's anything wrong with Penny. It just, and this is before I knew I had video capable. I just found that out like on Saturday. I was like, wow, that's a cool thing. Because I like signed up for it because the place that hosts the podcast is owned by Spotify, or they got bought by Spotify. And so they've been trying all these new things. And so I was like, well, I don't know who the world wants to watch two people talk, you know, but I kind of, I don't know, the one we did yesterday came out pretty well. I mean, I was just, the only problem is you have to kind of watch it on the Spotify app. And so it's not entirely intuitive, but I think I came up with another idea this morning. I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel for this podcast, and then put up my recordings of these conversations as well. So other people that may not do Spotify or whatever, you know, you can watch them and learn some things, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. Or like when you guys talk about gear, it just is so helpful.
Oh, that's good.
And if it's on video, when he holds up his little vest, you can see what kind of vest he has. And
oh yeah, well, that's what we did yesterday. Yeah. So
good. Yeah.
Here comes my other cat. He's crying.
And you can see your kitties.
I know. God, I swear it. Yeah. The other one here, I'm not going to pick him up because he's a little older and he's a little crankier. His name is P, which is short for Pee Wee, because he was very small when I first got him, of course. And yes, how that name evolved. But he's 14 and a bit of a crybaby.
Oh my gosh.
Thinks he's hungry all the time, and he'll wake me up in the middle of the night. And unfortunately, there's no going back after, you know, you get up, you know, after many months of doing this, you can't just shut up, go to sleep.
Yeah, no, we have a 15-year-old dog that's like that.
What kind?
Huh?
What kind of dog?
She's a mutt, kind of chow-ish.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so she's just a sweetie, but she'll come in and say, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. But then after you go and finally get her down the stairs and, you know, wait, then it's hard to go back to sleep. But
I know.
I'm glad we still have her though.
What's her name?
Her name is Lenore.
Oh, that's a good name. I like that. It's like a powerful name.
Yeah, she's a rescue, and the lady that kind of helped the person rescue her was an Edgar Allan Poe person, and so Lenore is.
Oh, I get it.
Even, I guess.
Okay.
So she named her Lenore, and we just kept it.
That's a good, yeah. I mean, you don't hear that every day, so I like that. I like when people name their pets unusual names. I mean, Hazel's sort of average, you know.
That's pretty unusual for
a boy. Yeah, for a boy. Yeah. And then P, you know, in fact, when I take him to the vet, I spell it PEA, so that's not keep going to the back. Well, he was originally named Jelly Bean, and then I was like, no, you are not a jelly bean. And so pet life. But anyway, well, listen, thank you so much. Also, if you can, if you would, send me through Messenger a photo of yourself in action. So I can use that as episode art. This will probably come out Sunday, I think, because I'm recording some of these in advance, like I said, because I'm going to go out of town tomorrow. And so gotta keep, you know, feeding the beast, if you will. Now, I mean, I really love doing this though. It's like, and like I said, this video thing is actually something I'm really like kind of thinking up new things to do. And I was telling Orly yesterday, I think I want to start really getting into the swag game, because I know I have people that really would like to get like shirts or mugs or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that that does printing up here in San Antonio, so I'm gonna, and he's, you know, giving me, you know, some pricing and stuff like that. So it's just now I got to just figure out how to organize all of that so I'm not like overwhelmed, like, oh God, I got to be all this stuff out, you know. And but
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it'd be interesting to know what people would like. You know, they
for sure.
hats, or maybe they feel like I've got a million hats, I need another hat.
Yeah, right. Or shirts, or, you know, it's keychains. I don't know. It's
Yeah, it's hard to know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fun. That'll be fun.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's funny because a former student of mine, and he'll kill me for saying that I identify him that way, but he's also a friend. He's like pushing 30 at this point, but he designed the logo for me. And
Oh, yeah.
'cause originally I had taken some more, I mean, I was fairly artistic as a child, but I'm not as much these days. But I took some like markers and tried to create something. And, you know, I think the first iteration, it just looked really horrendous. And Kevin took mercy on me. It was like, here, let me try something.
Nice.
Gave it time. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, all right. Well, listen, thank you so much. And don't forget to send me a photo, and have a great holiday. And you know, I was going to go work at Bandera, but it turns out that, anyway, I'm going to end this real quick. Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Bye. Okay.
Bye.